Okay, welcome to this video tutorial on how to set up the BbSyncClientWS project in Eclipse. To get started with this tutorial, what you'll need is the latest version of the Java JDK. I'm using JDK 1.8, and you'll also need the Eclipse IDE. I'm actually using Eclipse Java EE IDE for web developers, version 4.4.2. So let's go ahead and get started, and we'll start up Eclipse here. You'll probably see this welcome screen. If you've never used Eclipse before, all you have to do is click this little button to go to the workbench, and there it is, and we'll just get started. So the very first thing we need to do now that we're looking at the Eclipse workbench is get the BbSyncClientWS project into Eclipse. Now there's many ways to do that, but since the project itself is hosted on GitHub and Git is part of the Eclipse IDE, what we'll do is clone the repository directly into Eclipse. So to do that, we'll go up here to the window menu and we'll select Show View and Other, and you'll see here we can expand this Git category, and we will select the Git repositories view. When we do that, we get this little tab for Git repositories, and you can then click on Clone a Git repository. Now at this point, you're presented with this panel that lets you put in all the information for the Git repository you want to clone, but we're going to make things a little easier on ourselves, and we're going to go over here to Git itself, and we're going to type in the name of the project, which is BbSyncClientWS, and we're going to search for it, and there it is. And once we're on the project page, you'll see this little link over here you can click on. This is the clone URL. So we click on that, and you can see it copies it to the clipboard. And now when we go back to Eclipse and select our Clone a Git repository link, it automatically fills in all the information to clone the source Git repository, which is really useful. So at this point, we'll just click Next, and it will ask us to select a branch. Now the branch that we're showing here today is the master branch. Sometimes there may be other branches available, but the master branch is the one you should always select. So we'll just click Next there. And here's the local destination panel, and that's just essentially saying where do you want to save the files to your local machine. Again, here I'm happy with the defaults. Just make sure you have the master branch selected, and we'll just click Finish. And at this point, it downloads everything you need right from GitHub and creates a Git repository right here that you can look at. And if you expand these enough, you'll see that yes, we have a master branch that we're working on, and you can tell that this is all in the local working directory for now. Now that's great, but you may be saying, okay, how do I work on the source code here? Well, now that we actually have the repository in Eclipse, what we need to realize is that this particular repository is actually an Eclipse project. And so we just need to import the project into Eclipse. And the way we're going to do that is by right-clicking on the repository, and we're going to select Import Projects. And this pops up a little wizard here that makes it really easy for you to go ahead and just click through these options. We'll take all the defaults, and you can see it recognizes that there is a folder here that contains an Eclipse project, and we'll just click Finish. And in no time at all, we'll find that we have a project up in our Project Explorer. And it'll go ahead and start importing everything we need. Now, if you look down here, you'll notice it's taking a little while, and it seems to be stuck on 25%. What's actually happening is this is a Maven-enabled project, and we're using Maven for the dependency management in this project. So Maven is actually going out to the internet right now and downloading all of the third-party dependencies. And once those get downloaded, the project will pretty much be ready to go. Okay, so at this time the project is all completely loaded up, and you'll see here that it says we're using Java 8 OpenJDK library. Right here you'll notice that the blue M signifies that this is a Maven enabled project, and we also see that we have a little problem here, and that's what this red exclamation point symbolizes. And to see what is going on with the project, we'll click down here on the markers, and it says we have a Java build path problem. And if we expand that, it says that it's missing a required source folder, source test resources. Now this particular folder is a default folder that Maven creates when you make a new Maven project. I never actually used this folder, and when I uploaded the project to GitHub, I suppose GitHub just ignored it because it was an empty folder. So when you download the project, Maven then complains that, hey, wait a minute, you're missing something that you should have. So what we're going to do to fix that problem is we're just going to go back up to the project, the root level of the project. We're going to right click on it. We're going to go to this Maven directory, and we're just going to tell Maven to update the project. We're going to select OK, and you'll see that that error has now gone away. And there it is. Now that error has now then been replaced with something that says the build path specifies the execution environment J2SE15, and there's no JRE installed in the workspace that is strictly compatible with this environment. And that's okay. I mean, look up here, we have it says J2SE15 now. The reason it's doing that is because we cleared our Maven build issue, and what Maven does by default is it uses J2SE 1.5 unless you specify something else. So I haven't specified anything else in our Maven POM file. The reason I haven't done that is because I'm not exactly sure what environment people are going to be using this project with, so I just left it with the defaults. But I should point out that this project hasn't been tested with Java 1.5 or Java 5. We've only tested it with Java 6 and higher, so you should probably go ahead and fix this. The way we're going to fix this is right click on it, and we're going to go to configure the build path. And right here is the system library that it has selected, and we're going to go ahead and edit that. And I'm simply going to select the JRE system library that I know is compatible with the JDK I have installed. So because I have JDK 1.8 installed, I'm going to select the Java SE 1.8. And so I know those match up. I'm going to click Finish. And then at this point, it's going to go ahead and build everything. And you'll notice now that we still have some problems here, about 1,500 problems actually. And that's expected. What's happening is the project doesn't include the source code for the web services that you're trying to connect to. So what you need to do is connect to the web services on your server, and you'll be able to download the remaining code and build the project. Now how you do that is by this README file right here, and if you follow the steps in this README file, you'll be able to finish up and get this project going. Now eventually I'll create another video tutorial on how to do this, but until that time, just follow the README file. You now have everything you need to get this BbSyncClientWS project working. So good luck and have fun with the code. Thank you very much.